John Elway is a top 10 quarterback of all time.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay, so I think there's no question, without a doubt, John Elway is a top 10 all-time NFL quarterback. You look at what he did in the 80s, first having the pressure of being a number one overall draft pick, having to deal with the whole Baltimore thing, getting traded to the Broncos, carrying that team through the mid-80s, getting to 3 Super Bowls, then towards the end of his career to be a leader, not the arm strength, not the mobility he had in the 80s, but to lead the team to back-to-back Super Bowl champions, only NFL quarterback to win 2 back-to-back Super Bowls and then retire. Without a question, John Elway, top 10, probably top 5.
Don't say top 5. You're
top 5.
Okay. I'll go. Stuff in the 80s, he carried, probably one of the worst Broncos teams to a while to 3 Super Bowls. What was the result of those 3 Super Bowls?
They lost all of them.
All of them. You lost all of them, so he didn't have a team around him. I'd also like to point out, what would you say are one of the biggest stats of a quarterback to gauge where they're at? Passing yards and passing touchdowns.
How about
right?
comeback wins?
No.
How about comeback
We're not going
wins?
comeback wins. That is not all determinant on the quarterback.
He was the all-time comeback wins as a quarterback, clutch in the fourth quarter. Give me 9 other quarterbacks that are better than John Elway that you've seen in person, Mr.
I'm 20 years old.
Exactly.
I haven't seen.
And I saw John Elway live several times through the 80s and the 90s.
I think the only thing we've established right now is that you're old and I'm younger than you are. So, but again, he's outside the top 10 in passing touchdowns and passing yards. He only won when he was surrounded by a great team. Great quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes can carry a team into the playoffs and win the big game.
It's hard to compare eras.
It is hard to compare.
You cannot
eras.
compare Drew Brees to John Elway. You cannot go look at some YouTube videos. John Elway was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes with his mobility, his creativity, his escapability, and his arm strength. Go watch some old YouTube videos, Mr. Pleuss.
All right.
The NFC teams are overall better than the AFC teams.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. I'll go ahead and start this one off. I'll just say the NFC North and the NFC West. So that's Seattle, 49ers, Rams, and Bears, Packers, Lions. Blanking on the last team. Bears, Packers, Lions, Vikings. I would say those are the top 2 divisions going into 2026. I think at least 3 of those teams in each of those divisions can win 10 games. I know you got the big 4 quarterbacks in the AFC, but I think overall you got the Rams defense, you got the Rams O-line, you got the 49ers defense. You just got an overall better teams, maybe not playmakers, but overall better teams in the NFC.
Yeah, I just take the quarterbacks. I like the quarterbacks in the AFC. If Mahomes is healthy, Josh Allen with the Bills, Burrow, we'll see with the Bengals. Maybe not a good team, but quarterback, Mahomes. Yeah, like you've got better quarterbacks in the AFC, I think. It's a slight edge. This was a tough one for me, but I still think the AFC, and I think those 2 divisions will beat each other up and maybe not be healthy once you get in. You're counting on Stafford to stay healthy with the Rams. That's a iffy. You lose a quarterback there, and it's trouble. It's curtains for anybody. But I just think with the elite quarterbacks, see what the Ravens do with the new coaching staff there. So I'm just going to give a slight edge that I think the AFC, and I think the AFC will win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I would partially agree. I also think you look at like the bottom of the barrel of each. You got the AFC South with the Texans, Jaguars, that kind of like throwaway division. And then you got the NFC South, I think, with the Panthers, Tampa Bay. You look at the bottom of the barrel, they're kind of even at the bottom of the barrel, but yeah, I mean, quarterbacks are better in the AFC, but I'll just say overall better teams in the NFC.
MLB needs to institute a salary cap.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right, yeah, I think a salary cap would obviously create parity. It's something that you look what the ML or the NBA has the different tiers and stuff and the different curtains to go over, and they don't want to go over that curtain. I think eventually it'll turn into that, but it all depends on the power of the Players Association. Will they sit there and actually agree to a salary cap? I think you take a good thing with like the Walton Penner, who just bought 40% of the Rockies. Mm-hmm. They want a salary cap. I don't think that they would go in full force and try to outright buy the Rockies without a salary cap. Yeah, they've got a lot of money, but they want to make money. They want to make good business decisions. Right now, to own a Major League Baseball team and not quite have that funding and with no salary cap, and you've got the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets who can just pour a lot of money into everything, it's hard for those smart market teams to compete.
Yeah, I would think it would definitely. I'm going to agree with you here. Just even the playing field for those teams like the Reds, the Marlins, the Rockies, the D-backs, all the teams that they get a star guy out of their farm league, and then when he goes for an extension, the Yankees or whoever offer him the most money, and he goes there. We've seen that year after year. I mean, we saw a Cubs guy, Tucker, just leave because they offered him more money, and you just see so many of those like star players. Like I remember watching Nolan and Troy Tulowitzki at Coors Field, and they eventually left because they couldn't pay him enough in Colorado. And you'll get pushback from the players. I'm sure everybody saw the videos of the All-Star game where all the All-Star guys we don't want a salary cap. And that, of course, that's coming from the All-Stars who are going to be making the most money. But I think overall for the health of baseball, it's going to be so much better if you get these small market teams that can actually compete with like a Yankee or a Met.
Yeah. Yeah, and it gives it like a Paul Skeens. Like, is he going to be stuck in Pittsburgh, or is he eventually just going to go, okay, I'm going to take money with the Dodgers or demand a trade to get to a big market? I mean, that's the thing, that a struggle that the small market baseball teams have.
Yep.
The Las Vegas Golden Knights are the most hated hockey team in the NHL right now.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right, I'll start this one off. I slightly agree. I think whenever you have, especially in hockey, you have an expansion team that has success right away, that's completely frustrating to those old school, mainly Canadian teams like Toronto and the Canadiens that haven't had success. When you have a team like that come in and have success, I think that's a big part of that. Bitterness. And I know a lot of people don't like the style that they play. But yeah, that's kind of where I feel right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. Them coming into the league and then them immediately being good and getting a lot of star guys on their roster right away was definitely put them in that situation of a lot of old school fans not liking them. Also, I'm still questioning like the Vegas fan base in general. Like, it's kind of hard. They've had a lot of new pro sports teams go to Vegas because of all the betting stuff now being lifted, and you can have teams there. So they're gonna supposedly have a basketball team there in a couple years as well. And I just don't know how the Vegas fans take to that. And it's just a different atmosphere. Watching them in the playoffs, watching a home Knights game, it was more of like what celebrity's gonna do the horn thing or whatever than like, oh, our star players out tonight. So I think it's more about who shows up at the games instead of who's playing the games in Vegas sometimes.
Well, and if you talk about hated teams, that is my most hated team ever
That's because you're an Avs fan.
in National Hockey League.
CU will have a better football season than CSU.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Need more table.
Okay, you start this one off, Reed.
All right, so I think it's honestly, I said better. Doesn't mean they're going to win more games. Our coach is Deion Sanders. We had a Heisman winner 2 years ago. We got some pretty great wide receiver transfers coming in. And we're just going to be a more explosive team than we were last year. We're going to see what Juju Lewis looks like. And I'm never going to bet against my Buffs. So, SCO Buffs, we're going to have a better football season than the Fort Fun Rams.
And that's the thing. We are going to have more fun up in Fort Collins. Coach Mora coming in, experienced former NFL coach, has done great things at the college level too. Different atmosphere. It was a disaster last year. Anytime you have to let go your coach mid-season. I mean, I have been a CSU grad. Sorry, I forgot my hat. If I would have known that this was going to happen, I would have done that.
Real fans come prepared.
But the great thing with CSU will be a new atmosphere. They still have that fairly new stadium over there that's on campus. Again, being a CSU grad, I enjoy going up there. They're really trying to get high school. They have the state high school championships up there now. That kind of brings in some momentum. I hope they have a turnaround season. And I think they will have, I know wins, maybe not talking about like if the Pac-12, who knows what that's going to look like. Completely new atmosphere there, new teams. It'll be interesting to see how CSU does up there. I want to say I hope both the teams do great. I am a big Colorado college football. When you got CU, CSU, and Air Force all playing well back in like 1990 when the Buffs won the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
CSU won a bowl game. Air Force won a bowl game. I know that was 30 plus years ago, but that was really the prime of college football in Colorado.
I agree. I'll never root for the Rams because I'm going to see you. But I can't even like be a rival anymore because we don't play anymore. We don't play the Rams anymore, and that's kind of unfortunate. I'm not going to see a CSU CU game until 2028, I think, is when they renew it. But you talk about atmosphere. How many CSU games did you go to last year?
I went to one. I went to the Hawaii game, and I go to more CU games because I'm there for the band, really. But yeah, I mean, great atmosphere up at CU, and I have a friend who tailgates, diehard CSU fan, and he's frustrated. He's super frustrated. But again, hopefully we're turning the corner up there in Fort Collins. But again, I love going up to Boulder and seeing what's happening there. And I'm not going to be taking my shirt off and waving it around when you're down 30 maybe.
Good call.
But it's always fun atmosphere. And again, I love it when college football is relevant in Colorado. That is super fun because Colorado loves their college football. Even like you look at Mines and UNC up in Greeley. There's some great D2 programs.
Mesa.
CSU Pueblo, Mesa. I mean, there's some great college football played on Saturdays here in Colorado. And hopefully CSU, CU, and again, Air Force too can get it going in the next couple of years.
All right. Thanks so much for watching this Agree to Disagree video. Thanks to my special guest, Dennis, for joining me again. Go ahead and follow Pleuss Sports on Instagram and then read Pleuss on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube as well. And I'll see you guys next time.